What is talent? Where does it come from? Okay, never mind. I know that's not what you're here for. Let's get down to what you really want to know. Do you have any? I will tell you. Talent is the natural ability to do something. And yes, it does seem to be something that you essentially have more or less of. But it's not that simple. For one thing, there are a lot of different talents at work in any art, like the ability to structure a story, write dialogue, empathize with characters, be funny or scary or romantic or imaginative, etc. Critique yourself, hear criticism productively, pursue a vision, put your craft in the service of others, communicate and collaborate about the work, put things into cause and effect sequence, set up and pay off, withhold and reveal information, use language well, know a genre in depth, work within a formula, create original work, make choices, make connections, summarize, remove the repetitive or extraneous, write quickly, discipline yourself to write, make changes easily. These are just some of the talents that help a writer. But nobody has all of these component talents. And none of them are make or break. Everyone has strengths, gifts, natural abilities. Some of them are rewarded and recognized more than others, but all of them are actually valuable. The real question is, what are you going to do with the gifts you have? I think dealing with that question breaks down to 4 steps. Figure out the talents you have. Figure out what they get you. Work on developing your talent. Work on building up what you don't have talent at. So let's look at those one by one. Figure out which talents you have. This is actually one of the hardest parts of becoming an artist, because most people don't even know there are different talents involved in every art. So you have to study the art, not just the finished works of art, but the process, the job, the work, to learn what are the different talents involved in doing this thing. But once you learn that, you still have to figure out which ones you are talented at. Unfortunately, you have to make judging your own work and way of working part of the process. Okay, when I say judge yourself, I don't mean be like the teacher in Whiplash. Judge does not mean condemn or even criticize. The point here is to honestly know yourself. And the reality will always be some things are good and some things are not. So if you feel like you are all good or all not, you're doing it wrong. And to make it even harder, there is no absolute test or way to judge talent. There are hundreds of stories of magnificent artists who were told early on they were worthless. Unfortunately, that does not mean being told you are worthless is an absolute marker for talent. It's all just very complicated. So here are just some things to look for as you try to figure yourself out. At least part of the work comes easily to you. Something in there will feel right, good, natural. Look out for what part of the art energizes or comes easily to you. Try to break down what part of it exactly do you like doing. Now, judging by how you feel can get muddied up by self-doubt or fear. So try to consider if you take pleasure in doing the work. It's not always fun, of course. It can be stressful misery. But even then, most artists feel some kind of a click, a yes, when they work on their art. Even when we're incompetent or failing, which we all are often, it feels in some way still interesting or engaging or right, real, powerful, yours. Talented people also tend to feel a love of the mechanics of the art. You just have a fascination with how people do this thing, the inner workings, the nuts and bolts, the process. You're just into it, and you want to know more about it, and you want to be around people who are also into it. This is not the same as loving other people's artworks. You can be a huge fan and not really be that into doing what it takes to make art. Not everyone is an artist. You might really be a collector, or a critic, or a teacher, or a really deep fan, which is great. The point is, get to know yourself honestly. Search inside yourself and see if you have an actual, absolute need to do it. Because art requires some serious, kind of insane persistence to get good. You have to need to do it so much that you'll put up with the struggle and uncertainty and emotional turmoil, because willingness to engage your feelings is a part of talent. I can't really think of any example of talent that doesn't involve the artist engaging personally with the form or the content. And finally, this is a hard one, but one important way to see if you have talent is people will tell you. When you do this thing, someone, not everyone, I guarantee you, but someone will say, that's kinda good. If what you do is getting any kind of positive response, take that seriously. It is very hard to get praise when you are learning to do an art. Most people can't see past your inexperience or lack of polish or lack of resources. They judge you on an unfair scale, comparing you to professionals. They think that somehow they're helping you by telling you what's wrong with what you've done. They don't understand, and you should remember when you talk to an artist, you always need to tell them what's good, what's working. That's what an artist works from, what's right. So learn to accept and take strength from even the most partial, limited, or unintentional positive response. You have to ask yourself, did they follow the story? Did any of the ideas or feelings come through? Did any part of it work? That stuff is a win. That's the stuff you work from to get good. And honestly, no matter how good you get, people's opinions are hell. Think about your favorite things in the world. Now, think about everyone's opinions on it. Yeah, it's hell. So the good news is, if you're someone who would watch a video like this, you probably have some signs of talent. The bad news is you still have to work a lot. There is no way to tell what talents you have if you don't do the work and show it to people over and over. We all have to plunge in and try without knowing if it will be good. Talented people mess up a lot, which brings up another key element of talent. A lot of what we call talent is simply persistence and determination, because you're going to fail. But that should just make you want to improve. Willingness to relentlessly improve your work is a sign of talent. You have to want to do this thing over and over for the rest of your life. So now, considering those signs of talent, figure out what parts of the art you're talented at. This is likely going to take years. You have to learn the mechanics and secrets of the art, and you have to try them over and over. Just keep an eye on it and steer towards your strengths. As you get some sense of what you do well and what you don't, you also have to figure out what your talents get you. Talent is not always rewarded. Talent often means you're going to see things other people can't, and you don't understand why they can't see it. Talent doesn't always help you get ahead. Sometimes you have a talent at something that just doesn't bring in a lot of money. That doesn't mean it's not a serious talent. It just means, like every artist, you have to figure out how you're going to make a sustainable life while you do your art. Every artist. Seriously, it never stops. I cannot say this enough. Talent is just the beginning. It's not like talent just goes off and does the work for you on its own. You have to work on your talent. You have to learn how to use it, how to let it guide you, and how to steer it. Practice, study, experiment, do the work. And finally, no matter how talented you may be at something, you need to work on building up or replacing what you don't have talent at. You need to learn how to support your talent by working on all the things you're not good at. Talent is a natural ability. It makes the work easier. That doesn't mean if it's not easy, you can't do it. You just have to work at it. Talent can be replaced or compensated for with knowledge, skills, tools, and practice. Whether it comes easily or not, you still have to put together a set of workable techniques and principles that you follow, and then practice those skills for 10,000 hours. That's what it takes. So back to the original question, do you have talent? You have some talent. What matters is what you do with it. Figure out the talents you have. Figure out what they get you. Work on developing your talent. Work on building up what you don't have talent at. That's it. That's the answer. Now you know. And you know what to do. Go write something. If you like this video and subscribe to this channel. Leave me comments, ask me questions in the comment section of this video, or go to writingforscreens.com. Hello. Do you have any? I think let's look at those one at a time. At a time. Oh. And getting closer. What's good? What's working? What's good? What's good? I'm just gonna keep saying that. Idiot. That's